Now you ended up in Quattro prison camp.
I did.
And we don't get to hear in the book much about how you really felt about that. Did you not feel betrayed by the ANC? What I can only imagine feeling hurt and betrayed, and you know, not wanting to be on their side anymore for putting me in such a circumstance.
You know, I'll do the hurt and betrayed. I never had the feeling that I didn't want to be on the ANC side anymore, because with apartheid there was right and wrong. You couldn't not want to be anti-apartheid, you know. So no, that never occurred to me. My ideology was fixed. But I was hugely surprised. If you've read the book, you know, I was shocked, and it came at me completely from the blind side. You know, I was happily thinking I was being sent for training, only to find out that it wasn't a training camp, and obviously, you know, it was horrific for me to find myself there when it wasn't necessary. Part of me was really annoyed, angry, perplexed, if you like. Why put me there when I'd come to the ANC? That, you know, when you catch people unawares, fine, you know, dump them in a camp and put them in solitary and get them to confess. But I'd already confessed. There was nothing more to confess. And so I didn't understand. I was perplexed, I was angry, I was annoyed. It turned out later that, as I understand, that when I had gone to Lusaka that time, the people with whom I had been working weren't there. Ronnie Cashels wasn't there, and Mzwai police or someone under his command had decided that I would go to Quattro, and that they didn't trust me. How that happened is still something of a mystery, but I did learn recently that apparently the security branch knew immediately when I defected. So that I always wondered about that, and I had the opportunity to ask someone the other day.
And it was confirmed?
It was Vic McPherson, the former colonel, told me they knew almost immediately. And I said, how? And he said, we had a high-placed source in Harare.
Interesting.
Very. Because I asked him then, well, why did you just let me carry on? And he said, oh, we just thought we'd let you continue. I said, what about when I got to Quattro? How did you know I was in Quattro? When did you know? He said that they knew pretty quickly, because that one of their sources was on one of the convoys that went to Quattro and found out there was a white woman there. And so they put two and two together. And so I asked him, well, what were you going to do? Were you going to just leave me there to rot? And he smiled and he said, yes, that's why you never heard the helicopters.
How does that make you feel to hear that all these years later?
Well, you know, I didn't really, you know, when they didn't come to try and rescue me, I had a suspicion that they knew. I mean, there was the only logical explanation. You know, the South African security forces had a lot of capacity to do stuff like that. I have no doubt they could have rescued me if they'd wanted to. But the longer I sat there and the longer the helicopters didn't come, I was pretty sure that they knew that I'd defected. I just didn't know how they knew, who had told them. You know, it's a mystery still, and it's an interesting mystery because, you know, there was an agreement with the TRC, at the TRC that no spies would be revealed, which I didn't know about. So that's never come up. So who in Harare could have told them? And you know, and who influenced the people to put me in Quattro? There's always there's a big mystery there still for me.
And do you want that answer? Do you hope to find that answer?
Well, you know, I've made peace with my past, and writing the book was an important part of that. I feel that I did a lot of things that hurt people, but I also feel that I did try to make things right by defecting. I tried to offer my services to the struggle. I thought I could make a really valuable contribution. As it turned out, I made a very small one, and it didn't go very well. And a lot of, you know, a lot of people made huge contributions, and I was, in the end, unable to do what I'd planned. But yeah, that's my story, you know.